Hello and welcome to this edition of Big Scott 35, Nerdy Thursday. Sorry, trying to get my mind right this morning. Uh, just a lot of things ticking some boxes for me to be agitated today. But that's one of them I'll talk about here shortly. Other one has something to do with something else. I hate to be blamed for something that a customer service rep should fix, but they want to blame you. Just fix it. I hate that. I'm not blaming you. Just fix it. But anyway, I've been in customer service. I was in customer service for the first half of my life, so my adult life. But anyway, back to what we're here for. Games, nerdy stuff, anything like that. First, haven't been really watching anything. Was out of town for a little bit. Not really catching up on anything. I still need to watch Ahsoka's last one. Then I'll talk about that next week. But with talking about that is the Bad Batch. This is the first thing that's got me. I picked this up and I almost didn't. And I want to get the rest of the Bad Batch in this series. But they're not. Now you got to take them out the box, I think. Or displayed in the box, they had the open part. At first, I was like, oh, you can open it. Because they did some of the cartoon ones where you can open it and they're inside of fake cartoon pages on the box. I have a couple of them. Yeah, I don't know what Disney and Hasbro was thinking. I mean, they know collectors buy these. There's cool videos out there where people buy these because they're so close to the character, especially the animated series, that they do stop action or they set up fight scenes and things out in their yards or in the wilderness. I don't know where they go to do that, but it's really cool stuff for us nerds. Next is going to be my retro store in town. I thought it closed up. I started looking up. They actually moved to not the other side of town. It's hard for me to say. It's actually probably a little bit closer to me. It looks like it's in more of the young hipster part of town. A lot of those type of stores and people wearing weird hats and things like that. But it's a cool store. It's a little bit bigger. You can move around in it, actually see what they have. So I picked up some games. This one I had to put in a new case. I'm going to have to probably buy a backing to it offline. But Star Wars Demolition. Not all these were pretty cheaper fill-ins. When I see Star Wars games, I tend to pick them up. Just need these. I need to get a count for what I have. Maximum pull. And all of these are in really good shape. Like this one, I need to get a new case for this one because it's falling out. The little parts in the middle are broken. But the book looked like I was the first person to open that. And other than the thing falling out, which comes from sometimes when you bought these back in the day, they were already broken when you purchased them. Yeah, I mean, this case looked brand new when I got it. Same way with this Iron Ages or Iron Aces, excuse me. Iron Ages, medieval game. No, it's a high-speed WW2 aerial combat. I thought for sure I had this. I have other ones that are similar to it, but not Iron Aces. I have it now. So those three I got from a store here in town. I think those three games added to like $50, and they knocked a little bit off of that because they did. I didn't squabble with it. The next three was I bought from, man, when I went out of town. I went to Cooperstown. If y'all don't know that, this channel, I don't cover cards, sports cards. Uh, but I was staying in the Pennsylvania side, but this town, Binghamton, was just on the other side. Vestal is just right outside. Vestal and trying to think of Johnson City, maybe, and this was in Johnson City, Vestal. It's all connected. I was getting confused where it was. Awesome store there, huge store. Look up video games. It's there. When we pulled up, I was like, man, there's people going in this store left and right. So I wasn't pessimistic. I just keep my mind open. I've been to ones, but anywhere where I go, I like to find card shops and video game stores. And we hit a home run on it. So I bought Demolition Racer, No Exit. These are like $34, $35 range. Just knocking off some of those middle range prices. And of course, just like everything else during the pandemic, the games went up. This one here, of course, is the only Dreamcast one I didn't get. Forgot to take the sticker off the back. But I love beat 'em up games, and this was Final Vendetta. I thought this one was one of those like games either from like one of those that you can, but it doesn't seem that way because usually it'll say on the spine. But yeah, Final Vendetta, like that. Love the beat 'em ups. And then finally, last Dreamcast game was Kiss Psycho Circus. And I never seen this one before out in the wild. I've seen it, but man, it's clean, it's crisp. No, I mean that jewel case had no scratches on it. The book is crisp. I didn't even take it out. It doesn't even look like it has any bends on the spine. And the game itself just looks nice and crispy. Doesn't even look like it was refurbished or anything. I mean, this, you can tell this is the original. It was tight when I took it out. Yeah, I was, when I got it, I know I didn't have this one. The other one was Dragon Riders. I had to look that one up to make sure I didn't have it. But yeah, those are the games I picked up. Then before I left, Assassin's Creed came out. My favorite video game series of all time. I love the stories. I love the history of it. They have, the myth of a before time thing, which is pretty cool. A friend of mine was asking me if I saw the movie because a lot of people have been watching the movie right now. I know it's out on one of the free channels. And I was like, yes. And he goes, yeah, it was good. And I was like, unless you know the video games, then you might be a little ticked about it because they could have just took like any of the video games and really made a good movie out of it. But they try to make a one-off of something like the machine they get in is not the machine they use in any of the video games. Just off-putting. But anyway, I bought a special edition one, and it kept saying pending. And then all of a sudden it disappeared off of my credit card. I bought off of GameStop, which that was my first mistake. So I went out and bought Assassin's Creed, just the regular one off the shelf, sealed. It comes with a little thing there. But all of a sudden at my P.O. box, my post office box, I get my deluxe edition. So that comes with Steelbook, which I love Steelbooks. Assassin's Creed soundtrack. A map of Baghdad, which I'll probably get framed and hang it up in my living room. I love to do that. And then the art book, which I love these. I have this for a couple of other games. It just shows you art of the game itself. I have only played the beginning mission so far. I have not delved into it. Been a busy boy. But I knew it was coming, so I had my setup for my computer gaming. But I went out and bought a 32-inch TV that would fit right here. Hooked up a couple of gaming systems so I could hopefully start streaming here soon. And and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute when I get this done. But I also got, out of that, you might have already seen, I got a pen that I'll probably put on my backpack. I was trying to hook it onto here somewhere. I was trying to put a string. My hands wouldn't let me do it, but I got this cool statue. Don't take too highly in it. It is hollow plastic. It's not statue material. But it is very, very nice. Love it. Blade out. Just a cool statue to have. I got to find a spot for it. That's my third statue. I have the Days Gone zombie game statue and God of War statue. The first one with his son. I can't remember what it's called. Shame with me. But yeah, that's it. And what I wanted to tell you was be on the lookout. Be on it soon. I have a tentative name for a new channel for gaming and nerdy stuff separate from this one. Kind of want to keep the two separate. A couple of my friends was telling me before, because I kind of gave up on that part, and I was sad when I didn't, because it's just as much a part of me of much of my hobby. It's a number two. The sports cards are number one. But video games and Star Wars are right there. But I put all those together. I don't separate them. If I had to, Star Wars probably be ahead of video games. But I really love collecting for Dreamcast. If I would have had, I almost bought a new Dreamcast system. It had a complete sports 2K version up there. That's kind of I don't want to say grail because I can find it anywhere. It's just a thing that I want. I want it complete in box. So I won't take it out of the box. I have the white one I've had for a while now. Works fine, hooked up. I just would like to have the black one, the 2K version. If you know what that means, 2K, when 2K first started and Dreamcast started, that was kind of the thing, like 2K and Dreamcast. Dreamcast, the games were beautiful, ran great on the Dreamcast. I wanted the Dreamcast so bad then, and I just couldn't afford it. So I couldn't have everything. I was Sega Genesis and then PlayStation 1, I believe, when Dreamcast was out. So I already had the PlayStation and Sega. Genesis, I couldn't afford also buying games for Dreamcast and the Dream. And Sega Genesis by that time was pretty played out. But PlayStation 1, and I was buying bootlegs for that. I didn't have money at all. I was partying it up at that part of my life. So I've told this story in a bunch. But now, I can afford these type of things. So try to go back. And that's why people buy this stuff. So to go back and either get something they didn't have as a kid or recapture their childhood. And I still look for Sega Genesis games. The store had so much. It makes me want to go up there just for the store. I'm, this was the best store I've ever been in for this. They had video games, sealed video games, complete in box video games, toys, figures everywhere, pops. Let's see, movies, all kinds of movies, DVDs. Uh, it was, and I have a funny feeling if you have movies that you really love because of this writers and strike, you better get these movies on DVD or TV shows. Because I have a funny feeling we're going to have to pay extra to watch some of this on your streaming plans, or the streaming plans are going to get dumb in price. That's because we're going to pay for this. They're not going to, the people that run these places are not going to take money out of their pockets to pay for it. It's just not, unless we push back. But I don't see it happening. Even with me at a certain point, but I've already started looking at what to cut. And I mean, while I'm talking about that, if you would tell me below what, are you looking to cut some things out of your streaming services? I know a lot of people that watch this type tend to stream more than have cable. I know I don't have cable. I stream, and more people in my age group are going to streaming. So if my age is going to streaming, the higher age groups are stuck on the cable. This weekend we mirrored my phone onto the TV and watched the baseball games. Through a streaming service on my Hulu. I watch Hulu basically for everything, and that price, Disney, ESPN Plus has really risen like by $50 in the last 4 years. So kind of scared. Once that goes north of 100, I know I'm not going to be able to keep it. I know I could, but I like to buy stuff like this. So let me know how y'all are doing. That just popped in my head because I really, really love like these Disney Star Wars stuff and even Disney, Marvel and some of the other stuff. But I'm thinking about start buying some of the shows that they're showing on Disney, plus the Star Wars movies on DVD, just so I have them in case they decide they don't want to do that anymore or make you pay more, because on some of the streaming services they're already taking down some of the more popular shows because of it before this even happened. So I'm waiting to see. So anyway, like, share, tell a friend, subscribe if you haven't, and like I said, in the very, very near future, maybe as soon as next week, this weekend, I might get it together and set up a new channel, and I will tell everybody on here and put it in my about to check it out. Pretty excited for that. Don't know how much I'll do shows. Do the Nerdy Thursday, but it's going to be for streaming and things like that, and also for just chatting it up on here. Probably a little bit more weekendish stuff than I do now on here. So till then, see ya.